Hey guys, it's xTatSplatx, and first I want to say a huge thank you to all of you that have stuck by me. I know it's been quite a while since I last posted a video, back in 2009. However, I'm going to be back. I'm going to be posting pretty regularly. And like I said, I want to send a huge thank you to all of you that have stuck by me. I signed on the other day and saw that I still somehow had about 1,800 subscribers. I don't know how that happened, but again, I'm very thankful. And I promise that I won't let you guys down. I'm going to be coming out with quite a few new things, as well as I'm going to stick with doing the pickup videos, which I'm actually going to show you guys today. A couple of things that I've picked up recently. I'm going to do some more out and about videos, some more game reviews, and then I'm also going to be bringing in a co-host, xTatSplatx, who's my fiance, who's going to be giving some of his own pointers and tips on certain games, as well as some zombie survival hints. These can be used not only in a zombie survival, Armageddon type experience, but just normal everyday survival hints that you could use if you find yourself in a pretty bad situation. So I also wanted to point out that I was very graciously on the new Radical Rascals podcast, episode 12. Unfortunately, Andy was not feeling very well, so his fiancee Caroline stood in, and it was a very estrogen-charged podcast. I'd really appreciate if you guys went and checked their podcast out if you haven't already. It's Radical Rascals on YouTube. It's also available on iTunes, and you can also get the MP3 for it. So you have no excuse. You need to go listen to it. It's a great podcast. And I know a lot of them are popping up recently, but this one is definitely worth the listen. So without further ado, I'd like to show you guys some things I've picked up recently. Starting out with, I'm not going to show it to you because of course you all know what one looks like, but I picked up a Genesis pretty recently at a local little mom and pop store in my town. The play and trade that we had here has since gone. I don't know what happened, but they've closed, and this is now the only place that I'm able to get retro games unless I want to go to the flea market and yard sales and stuff, which I still do. But I wanted to support them and show them some love. So I picked up a Genesis as well as a box copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula. This does not have the book. However, the box and the cartridge are both in wonderful condition. I was very happy about this. And this game is actually also available on the Super Nintendo, the original NES system, the Game Boy, the Master System, DOS, Sega CD, the Game Gear, and one other. I can't remember what it is now. But this version is actually a side-scrolling platforming game, and you play as Jonathan Harker, which is, if you know the story of Dracula, I'm sure you realize that he is the main character. And you fight 3 different forms of Dracula, as well as some other villains throughout the game, Renfield, and other different characters. And Van Helsing is actually helping you out along the way by giving you special weapons. So yeah, this is actually a fun little game. If I'm very interested in going back and playing a lot of the Genesis classics that I missed out on, because I didn't have a Genesis as a child. So I'm very excited about my Genesis and my new game. This one I actually was picked up at Goodwill pretty recently for very cheap. My fiance actually snagged it for me, and it's Golf for the NES. Now this is actually the first golf game that has a power meter. I'm sure if you've played any golf game, you've noticed the little bar at the bottom, where you have to hit at a certain time in order to hit the ball correctly. This is the first game to do that. And actually, a little fun fact about this, the 9 holes on Wii Sports Golf are actually a 3D recreation of the holes on this game. So I thought that was a little fun fact that I found out. Now you can also download this game on the 3DS Virtual Console, and if any of you have Animal Crossing on the GameCube, there's also a fully playable version on there. So I thought that was pretty neat, and this was a really cheap pickup at Goodwill. I think it was like $2 or something. Now these next 2 things I actually found at work. I work at an antique store now. I left Blockbuster, I went to GameStop and left GameStop, and now I'm doing something completely different. And these were actually some pretty good finds at where I work. This one is Galactic Invasion 2011 for the Astrocade Videocade. It's actually still sealed, which I thought was absolutely amazing. Now, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the Videocade, but what it was actually a home console that was a competitor to the Atari 2600 and the Fairchild Channel F. I don't own the system. I got this, and I'm probably going to be looking for one now, but I heard that they're pretty hard to find, so here's hoping. But I don't really know anything about the game other than the fact that the little picture on the box, it kind of looks like a Space Invaders type game. I've looked it up online and can't really find anything about it other than people that are just trying to sell it. So I'm really interested, and if any of you know anything about this, I'd be really interested to hear. So yeah, that's Astrocade, the Astrocade video game, Cade version of Galactic Invasion 2011. And then I also got this from work. It's Chicken for the Atari 400-800. And what this is, it's like an egg catching game. You play as a chicken and you're trying to, catch eggs. And if you happen to actually miss an egg, it will hatch and a little baby chicken will run around on the bottom of the screen. You have to jump over it, in order to catch the other eggs. This one was also still sealed. And this game is actually from, I want to say 82. And this one was from 81. So yeah, those were two pretty good, sealed finds. Again, I don't have an Atari 400 or 800, so I'm not going to be able to play it, but I thought that it was a pretty cool find, and nice something to sit on the shelf and add to my collection. Now the last game that I actually have, it's a stack of games, and we went to an auction. We go to auctions pretty frequently now, and we happened to come across, it was just this plain cardboard box. It didn't have any writing on it at all, and they were just auctioning the box off, and they weren't going to tell you what was in it. Well, we decided that we were going to take a risk, and we bought it. I think it was like $2 or $3. And inside were all of these. Actually, there were 6 of them. I only have 5 now because I traded one into the store that I was talking about earlier. But it's Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Game Gear. Now this is the same version that came out on the Master System, not the Genesis or the Mega Drive. This is the 8-bit version, and this is actually known as the harder of the 2 versions just because of the smaller screen visibility. And it was actually voted the best handheld game of 1993, which I thought was a fun little fact. And yeah, it was also, of course, I'm sure many of you know that it was the debut of Tails. Now, as you can see, I've got 5 copies. I don't have a Game Gear right now. I'm hoping to get one, and I'm sure I will pick up one pretty soon, but I don't need 5 copies. I mean, I'll probably open one and keep one sealed, but if any of you are interested in trading and you want a sealed copy of the game, send me a PM, leave me a comment down below, and we'll try to work something out. There's always new stuff I'm looking for, so just, send me a list of stuff you're willing to trade, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool for $3, the whole box. And I mean, the stuff that goes through the auction, every once in a while you'll see, game stuff or, stuff that's pretty cool, but a lot of it is, antiques and stuff like that. So I was really shocked when we opened the box and we found these. Now that's it for the games. I've got a couple of non-game items that I thought you guys would be interested in. These 2 things were actually picked up at Goodwill, and they're strategy guides. The first one is Destroy All Humans for the PlayStation 2. Now, I've actually already played and beaten this game. Right after it came out, this was a very highly anticipated game for me because I love 1950s style, especially when it's kind of got an ironic, sci-fi, sarcastic twist to it, and this was right up my alley. So, like I said, I pretty much beat it immediately after it came out, but I thought it was really cool to have the game guide, especially since it came from Goodwill and it was so cheap and in decent condition. Normally, if we see a game guide at Goodwill, we're going to pick it up. We don't care what it is, just because, they're so cheap and they're nice to have on the shelf and they look pretty. So, yeah, and they're interesting to read through, too, even if you've already beat the game. And the next one is Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3. Thought this was a really neat find as well. I don't have this game yet. I'm sure I'll pick it up eventually, just because Super Mario Bros. 3 was one of my very favorite games as a child. But, yeah, I thought this was a pretty neat find as well. Pretty cheap, too. Thank God for Goodwill. Normally, I don't find many games at Goodwill. I know I found the one golf, but for some reason, my Goodwills are just bare. I don't know if I'm not getting there in time and other people are picking them up, or just they're not being donated. But when I do find stuff, I'll definitely pick it up. And these last 2 things are my personal favorites. We actually got them at a yard sale one morning. They were 50 cents each, and as soon as I saw them, I actually ran to the table they were on and grabbed them because I knew they had to be mine. And they are two little Yoshi beanie plushies from the Nintendo 64 days. They both have their tags still, and they're both separate. They're both different, I'm sorry. I'll give you a more close-up of the tag, see if you can see that. And this one is a skinnier version, and he's got orange boots and a smaller, I guess you'd call that a saddle. And this one is a slightly chubbier version of Yoshi, and he's got red boots and a slightly larger saddle. And there's a close-up of his hang tag. Now, I don't know if these were released together, if these were released for separate games. If you know anything about them, let me know. I looked them up on eBay, and they were going for quite a bit more than 50 cents. But I'm not going to be selling these. These are mine. I love Yoshi. He's my favorite character from Nintendo, just period. And they have a perfect little place on top of my TV in my game room. So they're not going anywhere, but if you have any information on these, I'd love to know, just, for the hell of it. So that's going to be about it for the things I've picked up recently. I know it's not a lot, but I am going to be picking up quite a bit more, especially since I found that game store. They had a ton of stuff that I want to end up getting, and I traded in a bunch of stuff that I had doubles of and stuff like that, and I still have some credit there. So I'm definitely going to be giving them a visit. I may even see if I can record, in their store for them some, and show you guys, because it's a really neat place. So like I said, I'm going to be posting quite a few more videos in the coming weeks and months and so on. If you guys have anything that you'd like to see, let me know. I know, like I said, I'm going to have some more out and about videos, because I love doing those. Those were really fun. And some game reviews coming up. So I'm hoping to get a capture card pretty soon. So I'll show you guys some gameplay footage of the stuff I'm playing, and then also hopefully I'll be able to stream some on Twitch TV. So I guess that's about it, and thank you guys for watching. Bye.